All right, everybody, let's get on with it on another Harmonic Pattern podcast as I dial it all in, get set up for the big run. How about this? Bitcoin 117,000 was as high as 122. So now what do you do? We got to do a lot. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, big numbers have been hit, and it's great to see it. I'm really, you got to be happy with what's going on here. Hold on, dialing in my audio. What's going on, chat? Great to see everybody. Come on in. Yeah, I was late. Technical issue. 3 reboots later, and we're good. 1 o'clock here on the East Coast. Today, July 15th, we are already halfway through July. And things are now starting to take shape in a delicious fashion that is just encouraging for the rest of the year. And it's actually showing the signs we need to see at the areas it has to do, where it has to do it, to really set off this next scenario. Looking at Bitcoin right now off of that recent 122,500 high, down $2,600 right now. And I think any retracement going forward, and I mean forever. All right, maybe not ever, but for the next foreseeable future, especially the next 6 months or more, you're going to be buying every retracement up to the big numbers I'm about to get to. So let's get into it. I know you guys are trickling in. I'm late today, but let everybody know. Hit the like and subscribe so that when I have issues like this, you'll get subscribed when we're online. You'll get notified. So hit that. Hit some likes, people. What's going on? Great to see everybody. What's going on, David? Abu, Echo, Genghis, Alex, Sonny, everyone else. What's going on, guys? Bitcoin 117,000 is the most incredible thing ever. We have talked about why 115,000 was so big, and it's a milestone, guys. It's a here we are with another. It's a beautiful kind of take a step outside, a little breath of fresh air, and acknowledge that we've kind of made it. I mean, Bitcoin is just not only did it take out 115, it smashed it. And you look at this long-term chart. Let's go weekly. Let's go monthly. Okay, it's just a remarkable chart. Is just a beautiful chart. And I think everything that they have talked about with Bitcoin coming to become what it is now has been proven. And so I don't think we can even really discount the significance of what has happened with breaking out of this whole big 1618 thing. And not only that, but it's 100,000. And it's probably something to talk about too, of the way that Bitcoin is growing, expanding. It is definitely taking on that kind of mathematical exponential expansion. 1,000, 10,000, 100K, 1 million. Are we breaking open kind of the seal, if you will, for 1 million? We talked about market capitalization. Okay, so if you go to a million a coin, you're talking 9x from current levels. That would put the overall Bitcoin total market cap to get to a million. And I'm not saying now, I'm not even saying a couple years from now, but I'm saying what's the possibility? We talked about that list. We looked at it last week of the biggest market capitalizations in the world, gold being 22 trillion. Can Bitcoin get to 1/4 of that? Currently about 1/10. Can it get to half of that? I mean, there's a lot of different baseline metrics. Bitcoin should be this because this is that. I definitely have to say that 2 trillion is it's a great number, but I think to get up there, maybe 4 trillion, and you know, think about it in terms of what that is percentage wise, how long that would it take to get there, and still doing what Bitcoin always does, which is, let's call it out for what it is. Bitcoin loves extreme harmonic expansions as much as 3,618 of a prior cycle decline, like that. 3,618, like that. That's the 2021 top of the prior 2018 decline. And then some kind of 618 plus retracement, like that. And I think those assumptions are fair. I think the harmonic patterns and metrics with this crypto space has been proven almost flawlessly. Cut me a break on 93K. We got to 98K, but it wasn't 93K, but doesn't matter. The argument here is, how is this thing expanding, growing, accumulating, receiving allocation to increase its market cap? And what are realistic possibilities of where this can go? That's the prophecy, folks. The prophecy, the thing that Michael Saylor talks about, is basically a place other than money market funds, which are at all-time new highs of cash on the sidelines, of a digital means to store your money, like money market or like gold, as a store of value mechanism. It's working. It's going to continue to work, and it's going to continue to expand on what I think is a pretty reliable harmonic model. 3,618 advance of whatever the prior correction was, and then a macro 618 retracement, and you do that again and again every 4 or 5 years until whatever. And then these guys will have stored up enough, not only Bitcoin themselves, but the accumulated profit, the capital gain that they'll be able to basically book and then lend themselves out to, where they're going to create this as a reserve itself, and then they'll lend money against the Bitcoin. Yeah, they're going to create this alternate system. It's already there. It's there on pure market cap play. But let's just do that for grins, okay? Let's assume a 3618 advance followed by a 618 retracement minimum. Brings you back probably, essentially where we were, 90 or 100K as the maximum downside. So what I'm getting to here is, are we at a point as well where the breakout and the momentum and the move will take us to a point where you will never revisit these prices, in the same way you'll never revisit 1 trillion market cap? Obviously, I mean, that's 60K. At what point does this take off and then you're establishing permanent lows? That's the other thing about the Bitcoin prophecy. You buy and you hold, and you hold, and you hold, and soon, like it is now, everyone will be in profit. And you'll follow something like that. So it doesn't really matter what price it is. Bitcoin at 100,000 or more, or 200,000, whatever. This is a market capitalization play going forward. Yep. So, it is unto itself a whole new system, market capitalization wise. Yes, let's compare it to gold and let's, just take on what the relative metrics are. Basically, gold market cap being $22 trillion gives us, comparable line here. Let's see here. Is this it? This is it. Here's our list, and we can think about Bitcoin relative to these assets. This is your asset universe right there. There's your top 10. Gold at 22.4 trillion. Nvidia, especially with what today gave you, I mean, massive hundreds of billions of dollars of move today, and still going higher. And you got Microsoft and Amazon. And then here's Bitcoin at number 6, 2.3. So in terms of store of value, okay, and let's say I don't even think, I got to look at what money market levels are. I mean, exact. Hold on, I'll look at that in a second. Because that's the other consideration with what is really possible. How much can we really think that this is going to go? Hold on, I'm bringing up a money market chart. Yeah, there you go. Okay, good. So total money market funds are at 7 trillion, guys. Let's get some numbers down here. 7 trillion. There it is. Going back a year. It's amazing. It's up like 10%. Look at this. Amazing. 10-year. I mean, this is, again, as we increase here, can't get the 10-year. But this is what you're looking at. Money in circulation. Okay, that's total US assets, money market funds. 7 trillion. Okay, gold's at 20 trillion. Bitcoin's at 2 trillion. I think that, Bitcoin could be on par with, say, this at 7 trillion with the money market chart, or somewhere like half of what gold is, maybe 10 trillion. So if that's the case, guys, all right, then Bitcoin's going to probably go much higher on this run. All right, not just higher, but I mean, like, this is kind of the assumption. And I think it's really important going forward to understand that that's your path forward for Bitcoin. That let's take it to the end of the decade, but you just maintain that channel, guys. The low end of that channel by January 2030 is like 5 trillion. You're looking at a double here. I don't think it's going to take that long. And let's say we got to the top end. We got to the end of that decade, the top end could be like somewhere 5.5, 6 trillion, a triple. That puts you Bitcoin 350, 400,000, and that's given you 4 years or more. But this is how I want everyone thinking. This is the generational opportunity that I have been talking about for a while, but this is the way I think about it. And that generational opportunity, again, early January is when we got into it. From this point, or really it was 2025, and then you're looking for the next, I don't know, next 4 years of action, that we continue that expansion. So no matter what, going forward, the next time Bitcoin is down 20% or more, okay, then bang. You got to be thinking of this. Got to be thinking of that this is our underlying thesis for major assets in general. and that this is not going to stop. So well done. I mean, it just is it has proven itself at every step, and even more critical has been the daily action over the last, I don't know, 6 months or more, where we have pivoted off of critical patterns exactly where the ideal levels, daily and weekly, even monthly, say, okay, that's it. And I draw your attention back to the correction back in March and April. Bitcoin was 1.5 trillion, like 75K. That had to be it. And not only did it or was it, but what it has done since, okay, it just tells us that on this harmonic scale, we can just stick with the numbers with Bitcoin all the way up and just play it as a stair step acceleration. I think for the next 6 months, we know that this thing is now entered the moon phase. But I'm talking also, where are we going to be January 1, 2030? 4.5 years. I know it sounds crazy, but we need to be thinking along those lines for not only for what happens at the end of this cycle, but going forward beyond that. And all this stuff basically, as I've been saying in recent weeks, separating Bitcoin from the rest of crypto. But as long as Bitcoin's running, that's the environment you want for the rest of the complex. A lot going on there. I mean, it is amazing. Mitch and I did we did a meetup in Vegas. I guess that was 2022, and Bitcoin was trading 18,000 or 20,000. A month later, it bottomed at 16.5, and here we are now 117. Where my only targets, guys, we have done everything that it needed to do. That we are now entering this acceleration phase. We did the pause and retracement at the 1618. That's important. I think it's even helpful. Okay, we really started this whole argument of this new bull wave, bull market once we were really that secondary signal, and that was it was more early 2023, but we knew the breakout, and then once we knew that this was going on, that we were here and we were well above a 382 recovery, and I would even say that once we started cracking the 236, like once we got above that 25, 28K, we knew this new cycle was happening. Once we got above the 886, and that was just back in October, we knew that was now going price discovery. We hit the 1618 up at 102.5-ish, retraced, and it was perfect. I mean, look at this. There's the first thrust, come back down. The retracement was almost as, I think it was almost an exact 382, like that. I think because if I get that right, like that, it was almost an exact 382 right there. And now head back up, break out new highs, finally fail, take out the 102.5 retest, take out the 115 extreme limit. And now what should we do? Minimum, understand, 1618 immediately off of the last corrective move from April. We're in a 1618 advance. And this is, I guess, across the board here with the major markets. That's what we're shaping up to do. I'll get into that in a second. But with Bitcoin, immediately, 117, that's great. But I want to see 129. That's the next step in this process. But the weekly monthly targets. For me, there's nothing here until 2618. That would be the next step in the process. That's 157, 158. Call it maybe 160. For now, into the fall, I would think 160 probably by September. Maybe give it a little more extra time, and then we have that rip roar and run into the end of the year. But we definitely did all the work we needed to do. Spring it. Okay, we did the piercing, great. Maybe pause a day or two, but understand where we are. That 115, 114, that is now support going forward. And looking and shooting for these targets higher of where we are currently is the game. Let it come back, set up for the next run, and then we're going to go 129, 130, and then 160. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Awesome. Great. Here's the 4-hour chart. Great to see everybody. Yep. What's going on? There's our 4-hour chart. And we're looking for target 1 off of this. Now, again, if this came in, it's an absolute gift. Why are we reacting other than the fact that, we ran 20,000 in the last 30 days? Hop level on the 4-hour, and I would stick on the 4-hour, guys. Reject it down to target 1. Can we get a target 1 completion and then go again? I'm looking at the 4-hour oversold level on HSI, and it's almost there. But going forward, this is kind of going to be our update. Every session, what's the last 4-hour HSI? Well, right there, the dot, resistance level, open bar trigger, 121,455. That caps it for now, targeting 111. And obviously, other support down here like 109. But that's going to be the next buy entry, and we're just going to keep doing this, I would say, for the rest of the year. We're going to line up 4-hour, and the assumption is every one of these go up, retrace, go up, retrace, and go again. Like that. Now into the fall until we get up to about 160. We will have these retracements. You might doubt it for a second, but I think after everything that's happened, this thing has been sprung. And I would look at, actually embrace the bearish patterns. Target 1, utilizing that. Let that be a reaction. And we're back to this, which is great. You want to see this. Bearish patterns giving you a reaction. Get the confirmation here, and then go and blast through. Yep. Oh, we'll talk about all of that. I'll talk about XLM, which exploded, XRP, which is about to explode, because it's given us enough change of information now. But I'm hyper focused on Bitcoin, guys. Hyper focused on Bitcoin, and will continue to be so. And so consider the initial primary targets to be taken out. The 1025 to 115 target has been taken out, and now we need to talk about the bigger weekly, monthly, extreme upside targets of where this will go to finish the cycle for now, for this current phase. But it's going to be something like this. We're down here under 120, 115. I think it's a gift. And I would be now looking to get more aggressive where all of this stuff has worked itself out. We'll pause a few more days and then we'll really start to rip and take out these prices and go what real price discovery is supposed to look like. Yeah. I'm it's not that I'm surprised that Bitcoin is up here, but it's kind of like watching this thing reach a certain goal, a specific goal that was always, 100K Bitcoin was always seemed far fetched for so many. But I think every one of those people and skeptics have been proven wrong. And this is now more about, okay, if it's going to do this, what else is it going to do? What are the things of the prophecy that people have been talking about, like sailors been talking about for the last few years, are coming true right in front of your eyes? Where Bitcoin goes from 10 billion, 20 billion, 100 billion, 500 billion, trillion, now 2.34 trillion. Is it going to go to 10 trillion? Because if it goes to 10 trillion, you're still 4 to 5x on your money. 10 trillion market cap, that is. Basically, you're here at 100K, 117K, and now you have to really embrace the crazy numbers. I'm going to just say for now, and I'd be really clear, going forward, okay, the max number on Bitcoin, we've got targets along the way. We'll have, immediate objectives. We will have retracements. We will have 10% down days. I'm sure of it. But overall, in the process of getting there, talk to me about a 3618. All right. And that's like 210, guys. That for me, that's the measured move. I do think you could account for maybe a 3 to 5% overspill move of, our measured level here is roughly 211. Let me get that right. Yeah, it's like 210. 210 and change. Extra 5% for a little overspill, 220-ish. But this is going forward. You've done it. Okay. And this is the last part of the phase. Should go pretty quickly. And I'm talking like, 6 months into January. It is something like that. Big, strong. So 210 is the measured move. 210 plus 10, call it 220. But 210 is the new 1025. Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm talking allocation, I'm talking trend, I'm talking measured move. Because there aren't too many crypto that have trends over the last 5 years that look like this. Even Ethereum, would love to have this kind of a chart. Now, other charts and other markets could be setting up to play catch up, put themselves into a better spot. Those are ones that I'm interested in. Because what we want Bitcoin to rip. We want it to set this whole final 6-month crazy phase over. And then we'll come back in 4 years or 3 years, whatever the heck. But what we want to look for markets that haven't broken out above their all-time highs, have done some nice move, some kind of retracement like this, and they're ready to go price discovery. I've got a few ideas. But the whole thing depends on Bitcoin. And not only depending on Bitcoin moving, but moving now and moving with strong conviction, acceleration, much like what we saw here. Go back to 2020. If we're at that point, guys, which we are, all right, we need something like this over the next 3-4 months. This next 3-4 months. Big segmented move. It's coming. I'm happy to report that, with everything that I do, it's all been satisfied. And we are now in acceleration phase. But it's Bitcoin first, and then there's others. If Bitcoin doesn't move or is slow to get out of the gate from here, then probably going to be pushing out the time on the rest of them. But I got to be clear. Okay, 117, nothing. Talk to me. Let's go 210, or even a double. We could. It's not a stretch to say that Bitcoin could double from this exact point by the end of the year or early next year. I think it would retrace and repeat that big 618 retracement phase of how it grows and how it moves. But for now, where we are is at that point, now we make the push. Acceleration. So again, I want you guys to know 115 was massive. You get to above 120, that's great. It's just a number. But we are at that point now where the acceleration is going to begin. And it's going to be first with Bitcoin, and then the rest are going to follow. So what else? Let me just run through a couple of the top ones, and then you guys can chill away. But Ethereum, 2850 was the number for me. Okay, I'm still favoring Bitcoin in a massive way, but again, your Ethereum situations like this. Okay, you're gonna break out of that. That's if you will probably eventually break out of this. And again, that could lead to much more significant moves. And I think you could actually even argue that there's precedent. Go back to the 2020 cycle. You broke out, that was 400, you went to 4,000. This retest shakeout, whatever that was, it was a really bad structure. Really unusual structure in terms of the weekly. And let me say this. Your weekly had a couple of things here where this was a higher high and then got taken out. And then you took out some crazy lows down here. Under 1,500. So really tough. That was not an easy move, but all right. I think the real craziness for the whole crypto market will happen, not really necessarily here, but above 3,500, above this downtrend channel. And I think that's when things really go ballistic. But for now, let's go back to our 4-hour chart and let's just keep assuming that that's where we're going. Check out what Ethereum has now done. 4-hour deep crab right off the low. Actually back to back. But in this case, all right, we had butterfly. That was back in, just 10 days ago. No, 3 weeks ago, sorry. We now have a counter HSI at 2950. And you're 3060. You're trying to push above that. I'm really surprised to see that. But this thing could be pushing now, and I want to favor and still stick with the 4-hour HSI dot signals for immediate swing opportunities. So for now, Ethereum doing what it needs to do, but for the whole cycle, like you want a definitive level like 115 was for Bitcoin. I'm going to say that's 36K. Ethereum can get above 36K. Then you have what I still say is a butterfly possibility. X Your B point is now there, though. It's still a 786. You go to a 127. It's like that. Okay. That's still the assumption for Ethereum. But I think you are looking for, when is the rest of the complex going to run? Yeah. Let's do it. So those are the bad boys, the big boys. Let's talk about one or two more big boys. XRP, guys. So there's been no structure on this retracement, daily, weekly, whatever. There's Coinbase. And we talked about why finally breaking out of this downtrend since December was so critical. Like that, or even I'd say there. Okay. This opens up the larger possibility now. Sorry, 1 second. Hey, come on. This opens up the larger possibility for first the bat. Man, every time. Why is I get messaged every time? Sorry, that's a Gartley 786 is right there. What's the problem? There's no ABCD. Let's get it smack exact. It's like that. Still Gartley structure. So $3, 270 to $3 for XRP is still a big deal. All right, but we've got a couple of other patterns here, 320, 355 that yeah, there's beyond that. We need to look at this as is this just a big flag possibility? 6 months of sideways with nothing here. We will know at 320. That's the all-time 886. I think that's where we're going and come back here. It's done an amazing move. I mean, listen, really challenging because that was 190 on XRP, and that was 20 days ago, and now it's $3. And it looked like this thing was going to challenge back to 160. I said, if these lows get taken out, there's nothing else there. Regardless, I'm, plenty of time, but I think, XRP is at a point where, okay, I've given it enough time. You guys know my situation. I was long here, caught it out, took it out, 270-ish. Been on the sides for most of the year. But now I'm going to look to get back in because if this is going to break out and there's not going to be anything here, then that continuation is more about the weekly. Like you got to go here. There you go. It's more about this stuff. All right. And that's how I'm looking at a lot of these charts of, okay, XRP didn't break down. I didn't want to stay in there and wait and see. Now I want to see, okay, what point we're going to get back in. Look for 270, look for 250. But I'm looking because I think enough time's gone by. We've broken out of this clearly that the focus is we break that wedge there and there. I'm looking somewhere in here for what should eventually be is another 3618 realization. For XRP, that's like, it's up here. It's like 640. Now that Bitcoin all-time new highs and recognize the condition of the environment, it's about allocation. I have been saying that all along. Bitcoin's breaking new highs, money flooding in. Okay, that's going to stimulate more money into the other top alts. XRP being one of the top with a lot of catch up to do. So if that's it, guys, I'm down here now saying $2 to $3. maybe more like 250 to 3, and we're gunning for 650. Now, this is between now and basically January. That's hefty. Maybe a little bit into next year. But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'll get to XLM in a second. No, I didn't sell all of it, but I sold a lot of it at a break even, and I didn't catch the move. And I'll tell you why in a second. But it's fine because the next move with all of these is going to be a lot higher, not just a little higher. So XRP, and that's, you think about it this way. What if something bigger is happening? Then structurally on the chart, that should be it. Like this floor at $2 should be the end of it. And what you should be seeing actually is that this is a new 1618 price discovery move. It's kind of like this, where this will break out, go 1618, and that's 450, guys. And I can be in something like that for that kind of a move with 1618, and then we go extreme. 2618 to 3618, da 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 da. You get the picture? The thought with something like XRP or a lot of these that haven't done a Bitcoin move is that they get up there. Why does it keep going there? Is they get up here, and that this is merely wave one. And then we're about to get a much bigger second wave. We're there. It's it. By all considerations, it's between now and January, and Bitcoin already started. So, and if you're new, you're looking for this next move. You're not just looking for a little bump. You're looking for that next move. Stellar Lumens. Okay. I held a position. Went sideways. It was between like 23 and 28. Why? Because we had a butterfly. And I scratched a lot of that out back in June. Break even, maybe a little loss on some, and then I got my type 2 weeks later. I still have some. Nowhere near the size that I had back in the fall. What's the call here? Well, target 2, which is what we were looking for, was hit. Is that it? Is there something more? Has to be above these highs. Because all this is go one, that's a 618, and there you go. And there's like another big 618. Just keeps repeating these 618s, but that was a hell of a move, guys. So I'm all right with that. All right, I didn't catch it like the way that I really wanted to, and it, I got in way too early, went through way too many bumps, and I got just fed up. But I do think there's a lot of opportunities that are like this that we should consider, and XRP is one of them. I think XRP maybe even more than XLM. The other one still is Stronghold, and I'm looking at to get back into this because look, we had this crab pattern down here. Where'd it go? There it was, crab. Did the 1 and the 2. It was really perfect. Difficult to see if you don't have the software, but at basically a penny. So there's XRP, there's XLM, and then there's Stronghold. Those three are together. That's kind of the triad bank Swift replacement play. And this has been stalled out. It hasn't reached target 2 yet, but I'm going to look for another opportunity to get in on this one as well. I think enough time has gone through. But XRP, all right, I'm going to start buying between 2 and 3. Maybe it's only 250. XLM, let's hope for a pullback. All right, but missed that. It's all right. This one, let's reaccumulate. Okay, couple others. Let's see it. I'm going to go through what you guys have. Awesome. SUI, really like it. You know, we went shark to 5.0, and I talked about this last time of needing to break out above that midpoint at 420, and you're almost there. That's SUI. When I was saying earlier about needing things to really break out and do a bigger price discovery move, SUI is one of them that I think can do that move. Just look at the action, look at the trend. You know, you're well above all-time lows. Look, it did the first big came out, did the 886 reset, price discovery high, retrace the 618, now go. And I think it's, you know, look at it like this. SUI, XABCD. All right, can't be a Gartley. Can't really even be can't be a butterfly either. It's kind of like one of those crabs where you got the B points at a 70. Normally I look at 404, but I just throw up as 1618. Look for crypto that look like this. You can say, hey, that's on a nice uptrend. It's not on a downtrend. And we're at consider that weekly retracement back in March as the absolute low before the cycle, before the second half cycle wants to run. That was it. And project your 1618s. I do like that one. One day at a time. So when is the end of the bull market? You got to look at this really going into the end of the year. A lot of people are saying crypto could run into March or April of next year. I'm not so sure, but I'm more on the utilizing that 3618 target for Bitcoin. Notice how Bitcoin has marked the beginning and kind of the pause points throughout the whole cycle. I mean, Bitcoin was the first to go last year. A couple of more. What's up, Pablo? He wants to look at, what's that, Flare? Flare versus the dollar. What do we got here? Wow, that's beautiful, man. Look at that bat pattern. Pablo Jr., thank you very much. Type 2 weekly bat pattern on Flare, FLRUSD. Yeah, that's just sweet. What about more data? More data. All right, there you go. That's cracking. That shows a lot of history. Now, again, what's the trend here? Is it like this or is it like that? I mean, it's pretty much, it's still down. So we'd say that's a recovery character. What's possible in a recovery? Well, you got a pattern here. So you're 175. I don't think that, you know, saying target 2, 4 cents is crazy. XLM just proved that. All right. Is this a price discovery candidate? No. I mean, it could possibly get there. But if you got a crypto that's like this and it's scraping lows from a year or two ago or a few years ago, it's just not going to do it. But I like where it's at. You know, you're 1.7 cents, maybe 1.3 cents, 1.4 cents. A lot of them look like this. They just haven't run yet. I think once Bitcoin starts to go ballistic, yeah, you're going to see it. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you know what, guys? I did not even do the business here. before we go any further, everybody get over to harmonictrader.com. All right, get the 2-week free trial. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Important. Submit that info, okay, and get the 2-week free trial. Now, if interested, please, nobody have won before. Next person to type in HPC 30, we'll give you 30 days. All right, we'll do one giveaway today. Anyone else, if you want to hook up with me on the Discord, send me a message. Connect with that link right there. HPC 30, kids. But everyone else, get to there. And also over at harmonictrader.com, all of the free information, the books, the cheat sheets, just register now. There you go. Become a basic member and you're in. But I think now's the time. Like, if you've been on the fence with the software, folks, you're going to need the software to get through the next 6 months. Because I think if we get crypto and stock markets to just explode like I think they're going to, you're going to need the levels. Crypto Czar, you are the winner, my man. Crypto Czar, you got to DM me on Discord, and I'll set you up. We'll give away one more towards the end, guys. One more towards the end. There's the Discord link. That's the 30 package. 30 days Harmonic Trader Gold, 30 days software, and if you want to buy it, I'll even give you a 30% off. But that's only for a winner. New people, please. I don't think I'm going to do that too much. Save that discount for till November. Anyway, couple more, guys. Couple more. Who wanted FWOG? Is that frog thing? FWOG. Oh, Mitch sent that to me. 4 cents. What do we got? 4 hour dot. Hello. All right, kids. Now this is another discovery candidate. Recovery candidate. But boy, that's nice. FWOG. This is a meme coin, right? I think Mitch sent that to me a little while ago. Back-to-back patterns. Yeah, okay, this is the kind of thing you want. Now, it's not trending, so we just assume recovery. I think you're at 4.5. Can you get back to 9? That's target 2 off the bat, and it's gets you back into this zone of the larger bat. Stuff like this that's going to run, though. That's going to run. Let me just bring your attention. Remember when I brought this up, GXLM? Remember these back-to-back patterns? It just took about an extra 2 months for that to be realized. That was the XLM ETF. A lot of these, like your FWOG, are probably the same deal. They formed the pattern. They gave you the confirmation. You're just going to have to be patient. Maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, and you get some reaction out of there. I like it. Thank you for sharing. Couple more. XDC for John. XDC. 5.5. This was the one that was like a penny. Yeah. Yeah, this was down here. Last year was 2 cents, went to 15. I like it. I don't know. The XDC, that's tied in with Stellar Lumens and Stronghold. I think so. But there you go. Okay, not bad. At least it's not trending all-time new highs, but look. Inflection low, secondary low, tertiary higher low. Good. That's important. And literally that was just confirmed like 2 weeks ago. On the daily, all right, first move, great. Pull up the 4-hour chart. Just go off the damn dot. No dot yet. Getting close. Here, this is what I knew it. You were oversold on HSI. Maybe we come back on Thursday and that has been triggered on the 4 hour. But I like it. I'm thinking that. H bar. What's up, Lawrence? How you doing today? Yeah, H bar 2 is the other one where now 23 with a 4 hour. There you go. Bullish HSI, and it's already up off of 13 in the last 2 weeks. Remember that? Come on. 23. Again, let's go off the 4 hour and just wait. Now, there's the 4 hour. That won't be official for 2 more hours, but it should be something like what we had last time, which was, oh God, not even 10 days ago. That was 15 cents. Yikes. But yeah, we can start looking. I mean, we're there now, guys. And maybe that's to our advantage because Bitcoin's waking up all-time new highs and these still haven't moved. Maybe they're ready. Oasis Network for Pablo. Looking here, 4 hours, okay. Bat pattern at 2.2, okay. But here's the problem with this. We're target 1. We have a counter HSI. You're 2.8 cents rolling over. I would look for the retest and then consider it. But is it trending? And this is going to be my question to everybody. Is it trending? It's a beautiful weekly everything. But that could sit stuck at 2 cents for a long time. Not bad. I mean, it is a target. It's a type 1 shark. Target 1 is 10 cents. But that's it. I mean, it's a lot, but we're looking for trending crypto. If we're going to get stuff to rip, it's got to be trending. That's funny. Flare has flare. I hear you. CryptoZar, you got to just send me an email or send me that message on the Discord. Here, I'll put it in one more time. There, and we'll set you up. I need your full name, TradingView username, and email address, please. Guys, crypto looks amazing. We still need to be selective. All right, please. What's up, Mr. Echo Leaf? I don't know utility. What's that? What's that? UTLY or ULTY? ULTY. Man, my dyslexia. Perfect example. What is that? I don't have a ULTY unless you're talking this instrument, Title Trust. I don't have anything like that. Ultra option, nothing. Let's move on. One or two more, guys. What's up, Guy Incognitable? We did most of those. I'll look at Algo in a second. Sure. Algo is like that. Everybody's talking about this. 28. Are you kidding? Look at that. Type 1 at 16. But again, Algo and everyone's talking about Algo and HBAR like they're the next Bitcoin or Ethereum. Algo's down here. Yeah, you had weekly stuff right there at 16. I think keep an eye on it. Again, you had a first thrust event, no doubt. With Bitcoin going above 120, that's a big thrust wake-up move. And the rest of these should be playing catch-up soon. We'll get a 4 hour. Get a 4 hour pullback on some of these. I like them. I want it to happen. But we got to be patient. Sure. Atom, has this thing moved? Starting to. Look at that, Atom. Where are we on all that? Yeah, all-time lows. Yeah, I just don't. It's tough. It was an exciting 48 hours, yes. But I think what happens is that some of these coins get caught up and the speculative frenzy of Bitcoin. But there's Atom. So why are we excited about Atom? Yeah, it's sitting on major levels, but your all-time lows. We need to be looking for stuff that's trending. Absolutely. And yeah, that maybe works and it could go to 14 and still be, come all the way back down. Couple more. Palm AI. Palm AI. Eh, same kind of a thing. We're at all-time new lows. So when I started this 30, 40 minutes ago, saying, all right, are we down or are we up? Are we like that? Yes, we're like that. We're certainly not like that. I want things moving like that. That's a short list. That's XRP. That's XLM. I wouldn't even say it's Ethereum just yet. Oh man, really? ICP? We know we're speculating when we're looking at ICP because this is going to be the same kind of a thing. Will this ever get out of here? I don't know. There's all-time lows, guys. All-time lows were like 2. You're at 5. Anything ever going to happen for ICP? Look, butterfly, I think that's a beautiful pattern. Brings me, flashbacks of XLM at 23. But just if you're going to try that, don't be surprised if you're going sideways for a while. And if you get the move, with a lot of these that are clear recovery candidates, you're just going to target 850 or 11. And that's it. You got to remember that because majority of these things are going to go up on this next cycle pump and then they're going to come right back down. Not all, but a lot. Most. I'll check them out. You guys keep them coming. I mean, I'm on a lot of this. I still have given up. Here's Link. Link is not one I've given up on because look, a lot of good things here on Link. Look, there's a steady uptrend on Link. We're not at the all-time new lows. We have 1 pattern, 2 pattern, 3 pattern, 3 bullish patterns. And we're coming up now 16. We never got back to that $9 level. That would have been it for me. I would have said, well, geez, if you complete that, that's an end-all, be-all weekly type too. So close. But I do like it. Here's the other thing that has happened in the last week or two. You did not have this. You've been waiting for this breakout all year. Look, the downtrend finally getting clipped. Finally. It's so I wish we would have hit that. Then I would have said, light switch on, let's go. But plenty of time here, but that's a big deal. So I'll look at Link, be ready. And I think Link can go to 35 or 40 on the next run. It's just, is it going to come back down to 15? Yeah. You got it. Thank you. All right, 1 or 2 more. Injective, just because I haven't looked at that, but I kind of know what's going to be there. Yeah. Injective at 13 with a weekly shark, but in that zone for 90 days. More. Someday you'll break out. A lot of these are looking like that. They're not bad candidates, but they're not trending yet. Not trending the way you want to see them. Like the thing I always like, the Tron chart. I'm really impressed with that chart. Hitting a deep crab at the moment, but how many crypto look like that? Not a lot, kids. And I wish I could jump in on that somewhere and, just let this thing ride. That's the kind of slow, steady building trend that can lead to much higher prices. I don't have an entry for you, but I really admire that you had a shark here on the weekly. It took a time building out, and that's just been a steady climb. That is healthy action, guys. And I don't know why Tron other than other ones, but that's a healthy uptrend that will continue. They have zero fee for USDT. Thank you, Mr. Khan. I like that chart. It's remarkable. That could do things. Something like that could go to $1 with that kind of continuation. It's not herky jerky. You didn't go up here like you did this move. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But you should have been all the way back down. If you were any of these other crypto, you'd be all the way back here now if it was nothing. So I'm separating them. It's pretty clear who's what. All right, that's going to be the last one. Ondo. Is this trending though? What do you guys think? Because who's saying that? Incredible saying that's trending. Yeah, look, it's not enough. This is fairly new, but okay, we do have a weekly oversold. What's the daily look like? All right, I'm kind of a meh. I wish that would have went to a type 1 and then come back. I'd have felt a lot better about it. That's all around 75, 80 cents though. You have these crypto that people talk about and they say, oh, it's this or that. It's the next generation XYZ, but the price chart doesn't do anything. So you got to wait. You got to be patient. I like that. I'd be looking down here, but expect this thing not to do anything for a while. And then we get going. Couple more of that. Last one, Dash. That's absolutely last one. Dash, like this. Interesting, but yeah, beautiful pattern. But that's like AVAX, just stuck down there. Some of these have done really well. Others, not. They can't say that's trending. Look at that. Can't really. I mean, there's beautiful patterns, and it's ripe for a pop from like 22 to 31. But we're looking for, monsters. Monsters. We did Ethereum. Okay, and the Ethereum now, I think it explodes. Yeah, almost 3,100. Get above 3,500. We're probably going to 3,330 right now. Bastards. Yeah. Really quick. Gold. Gold's like this, guys, and I think it's important to be looking at gold in terms of just store of value plays, much like Bitcoin. And I don't think this gold wants to come down. And gold keeps printing. It's their second HSI. That is remarkable. Like 3275, 3300. Keep an eye on that. I think this gold could go sideways into October, where you basically maintain this range like that. And then come October, you have a new, like just a new wave go higher. What you're looking for, gold, basically end this sideways box, if you will, and then the only spot for here is like 4,100 to go from the current price. I I don't see 3350 being a big resistance. It's a pause point, but 3350 is ready to get taken out. Just impressive. Look, 3350, 1 and 2 HSI. We could go back here and there, or here and there. A big run, small pause sideways, get oversold and go again. That's where you are. Almost to the exact day here of getting into the fall. So for all those kind of assets, look, money's still running, still flooding into these areas. We've seen what that did for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was lagging gold. Now gold's lagging Bitcoin. They will go back and forth, but nothing there to say anything but eventual continuation to come. I don't think so. I don't. Universal Codes is saying about Jasmine. No, I don't. Again, I'm just going to get to the whole idea of, is it trending or not? Jasmine's not trending. Something like this, or a PAX G, which is the crypto gold play. These are trends you can continue to ride. Hey, look. PAX G's got a bat pattern on the daily. And that's at 3273. So there you go. I still like PAX G. I like BTC. I'm starting to like XRP. I got to say, XRP will be a breakout play. Probably more on that on Thursday. Pray for pullbacks, people. Pray for pullbacks. All right, let's segue out of this. Let's go to the S&P 500. Here we go. S&P 500 on the daily chart. Right up against our hop level. 6350 was our target. We were almost there this morning. Wow, we were 6343. We've sold off. We got a few pattern levels here. 6352, 6354, guys. You get the picture? Won't be official unless today's a bearish candle. Not there yet. Not there yet. What do we expect from here? We talked about this last time. I do feel like we're getting close, at least for a short-term inflection. That could take time, but again, come a long way, kids. And now we're up here. We flashed HSI overbought. That's from back here from last week. That's the first signal. Now you're retesting that. Can we get some divergence? The thing that I like that's going on here is we're already letting out a lot of air out of the tire. So I would love to see over the next week or two have some nominal sideways to down action come into the zone and trigger oversold HSI, like back in this zone somewhere down here. Currently 6,300. If we could get to 62 or even 6,000 over the next month and then get a counter HSI signal, that very well could be the end all be all signals to send the S&P 500 to the big long-term targets we talked about in January. That's it. That's where we are. What I expect to happen over the next month, let's resolve this week, get a dot today, tomorrow, Thursday. Finish it off. Maybe next week is when we start to roll over. That kind of lines up. And it lines up because I'm probably going to go on vacation. So I'll let you guys know when I get my airplane tickets, and then you just start buying S&P puts. Because the day I go on vacation, this market, it will tank. It does every time. Regardless, I'm looking for it to come in, Like we could brush up even higher. I'm not saying it's made the inflection just yet, but the next 10 sessions, maybe into next Friday, we should be looking for this. Let this rollover start to happen, and what we'll be looking for, HSI to come down and trigger that. Get oversold and then fail that pattern. Set this up to fail that pattern. And then once you get above 63.50 later this fall, we go. I mean, we just go. We just, you're going to do this kind of a thing. 7K will be the year-end target. No doubt. 7K, S&P 500, book it. It'll be another 10 or 15%. Okay, that's where you're going. And then we'll deal with next year. But it's a big move. And it very well possibly could be after we get through this retracement, current, like this segment here, we very well could be looking for a breakout segment after we get through this. Be kind of like this kind of a thing. 73. I think 7K it's just not a bad number to be thinking about by the end of the year. And we should be thinking about how this is going to resolve itself July, August to set up for a mass run into December. If it's crypto, if it's the markets, it's like that. And once we're there and we take out 63.50, you know what that means then? It means that this pattern has failed in dramatic fashion, this deep crab pattern. And for those that were at the presentation back in June on the 20th, you guys know the play from here. It is a morph failure. What does that mean? Well, if we all agree that this pattern's failing, and we think that above 63.50 is the set me free Bitcoin 115 level, fat finger along above 63.50, then you're looking for this deep crab to morph into an extreme being. 3618-ish kind of vibes at 8300, but let's be conservative, 2618. That's 6900. Maybe 314. That's the argument here, guys. That is that's the opportunity at hand, and that's how bullish this outlook is. We get through this final piece. There's nothing here, and it would be quick. 6 months, maybe a year, if that. S&P's like 7,600. I think a year from now, 18 months from now, we'll be headed firmly in that direction. Yep. I hear it. I just, guys, that's where we are. Bitcoin's leading the way. And I'm really happy to see Bitcoin do what it's doing. We needed to see that. Okay, if S&P's on the verge of doing that and the big number is 63.50, just to let you guys know, then what about NASDAQ here? NASDAQ, we know has numbers 23,146 hit today. Well done. You hit the hop level. You have confirmation. What's it doing? 2-3 days later, it's going through it. Still strong. Still strong. Also, our weekly objectives here with what we're looking at, the weekly chart's blown out. And look at what happened with the weekly HSI. It went into the overbought. Why am I keep doing that? Hold on. Sorry. So this is important. HSI is in the overbought. Maybe we'll look at that if it comes out. You're going to need a bearish week. And amplified too. Big stuff going on here at key levels. The top end for this is still 23,600, but the 23,150 that we hit today is a big deal. What I'm thinking is we probably shoot this a little bit higher and somewhere in the next week or so. There it is, 23,595. It's this bat off of this. So still up, guys. Nothing stopping this just because we've confirmation, we have patterns, but this is just wanting to bypass. And, you know, we completed, it was May 30. So we're like 45 days into that, and we're still going higher, which is what we talked about. Maybe 23.6. And then we start to roll over. Market's been strong. And why is that strong? Semiconductors. Stocks just continues to rocks. Stocks rocks. 57.47, amazing. And it's a monthly chart. Remember this? Hop level, 61.45. That's where we're going. Why is that? NVIDIA. 170, guys. What did we say? 195, 1618 price discovery. 1618 price discovery. Just for new people, please hear me out. If you're not aware of like the simple 1618 and how important it is on any kind of a price move, especially breakouts like this, it helps to give you a target. Like if you know this is just a retracement, we got a counter bullish HSI. And I've been saying forever, look, this is going to be a breakout, and it's going to be a 1618 breakout. Look how strong it's been. Monthly chart. Beautiful doji at the low. Big bullish engulfing 1 and 2, and now 3. Now 171 on great news, earnings. 195, that's your 1618. That's a minimum. That's a minimum target. But that's how we do it. And we had lots of stuff down there. We had patterns. Look, we had the bat pattern down here. 106, got to the hop at 93. That was it. What was the only thing that needed to happen? Time. Time. And the other way that we got here is recognizing that deep crab had to be retested. Great stuff. The other one, Broadcom, I just think that's a matter of time before that's significantly higher. 282. Here's another one. Violated everything you want to see. Okay. And it's like, oh, come on. I do that one more time. It's like this. Already new highs. Where's 1618? It's like that. 332, guys. Currently 280. That's where Broadcom's going. One or two more. AMD, holy, you know what? Up 9 today. That was 75. That's 155. Well done, AMD. Now, are you really going to break out? Because this thing looks super strong. Been amazing. This is one of those longer term players. Like this was not an easy one, and this recovery, it's like that. Look what happens when we finally really break out of the downtrend. It's that kind of a thing. Here's one that I've been long since March. Yeah, because I was early on it. All-time new highs, 237. I'm down at 170, 180. It was all off of the big bat pattern, if you remember. It went a lot deeper than that. Or it became a shark. I think it was a bat here. Regardless, I'm riding for another 1618. Same deal. Up to 280 on Taiwan Semi. All-time new highs now. Told you guys, Stocks would lead the way, and it is. Yes, SMCI is running. What's up, Mr. Leaf? It's like that. SMCI, and I think this has got a long way to go. It's better now than it was. The difference is you've broken out of this downtrend any way you slice it. Today's like a real legitimate breakout day. It's like that. So I'm not saying chase it here, but these are the names to stick with and to really jump on. Others like KLAC and ASML, others, they've done well and they will continue to do well. Semiconductors are going to do big things. Looking good though. One or two more. What's up, Alex? What's EH? Better be good. EHang Holdings, come on. What do they do? Don't know. I mean, great pattern. I don't know anything about this. Yeah, maybe. Look, if China comes back, like we talked about Baba and Baidu, Baba is like this, ready to rock, 116. I think you're down here. You'll get a dot probably next week on Baba. I think you could buy Baba anywhere 105, 110, 115. It doesn't matter. You're looking for 207. And that's probably better than the other like Baidu. It's up big today, but bigger patterns. Baidu's needs a little bit more time, but 83 was another successful bump. These are early phase, but I like them. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. What's the other one? 10 cent. 10 cent. Where's 10 cent? No. I forget the other one. I forget the other one. Anyway, a couple more. Let's look at Tesla, guys. Tesla's got this dot, weekly dot, and I'm really trying to be patient on Tesla because I think whatever this last retest is, I do think that that's it. So I'm still waiting for the big load up. It's either going to be like 285 or 267. Currently 315. Careful. I don't want that to get away from me. But looks all right. Couple other questions. Let's save those other ones for Thursday. GSOL, I'm trying to go back here. The Solana Trust, look at that. Huh. GSOL, that's like the XLM, amazing. Wow, maybe. That's the ETF on that. It's kind of interesting you bring that up. That's Solana. Let's revisit this on Thursday. A lot of these ETFs because they're interesting to say the least. Alexander, let's save those for Carrot and the other one for Thursday. We did, yeah, it was JD. Thank you. Who said that? What's up, Easy? JD is the other Chinese play. $31. Oh yeah, this has got a big pattern. That's why. Big bat pattern, but 29.41. I like that. I like that a lot because you got confirmation too. Thanks, Easy. Appreciate that. I like that, and we want stuff like this. That's a recovery play I kind of like. You got big patterns here, and your higher lows longer term. Looks good. Who just what's going on there? Who is this guy? Hold on. I've got an imposter. Is this really? Let me see here. I think I've got an imposter. Really, man? I'll have to come back and look at this. Let me put a link back in there just to double check. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, JD was it. I had it in the wrong one. Yeah, connect on that. All right, one or two more. Grab as in, what is that? That's oh yeah, that's the delivery. All right, but why not go Uber? It's a nice chart. I will say that. Grab is, that looks like that's ready to break out. I can't argue there. But if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you just do Uber? Almost all-time new highs. I mean, Uber's going a lot higher, guys. Uber, or where's the other one? Cart, Instacart, Maple Bear Inc. Yeah, these things look like they're just ripe. Amazing stuff, guys. We're there. We're there. I mean, I don't expect this to be a difficult 5 months. If you've been waiting at all or whatever, you're not going to have to wait much longer. Here's ARM, guys. ARM Holdings, that's another semi play. I like what's going on. I mean, it's up 5 today. It's a little late, but this is a big deal. I wanted to bring it up. Massive continuation. You're not going to be able to see this unless you're following HSI. And HSI looks like that. Bullish continuation. That's a big deal. I'll update you guys on that kind of stuff. Oh, and look at this, man. ASTS. These are all raging. Remarkable. Markets are flat. Everything else is rocking, guys. I mean, look. Check out Robinhood at 101 now. Guys, Robinhood's going a lot higher. This is what I'm saying in terms of when the trend is your friend, it's like this. I mean, I still have Robinhood target 107, 108-ish. But I just, this thing looks like it wants to go a lot higher here, guys. You got earnings coming up. The 30th. Okay, I'm saying 108. I've been saying 108 because it has a butterfly formation, but let's get crazy. Let's get crazy here. This is a trending stock, kids. This is, wait, let's take out all the stuff. All right? Let's take it all. Let's even move the EMA off. Goodbye, AMA. Let's move the patterns off. Buy patterns. Okay. I've been talking about this for a long time. All right. And it's definitely up there. But this kind of a thing where that was your ultimate objective to get to all-time new highs. Think of it, this is now like a new cycle accelerating. All of this is over. X, A, B is at a 786 perfectly. That was at a almost perfect 618. Butterfly set up to 127 at 108-ish. 107. But if it blows through it, which I think it could, you're talking more like 130. 135. We saw what happened to Coinbase. That's the play for Hood. And if it gets super crazy, let's say we get to 133 and it blows through it, you know, I'll put it in an extreme category. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. I think this is just such screaming. I'm long a lot of that. Stay with it. It's like, and again, we see Coinbase. You know, Connell is just remarkable. Coinbase is almost, yeah, it clipped 400 today. And remember, there's patterns here, there's levels here. Oh, hold on. Let me put that back on. And put this back on. There you go. It's a type 2 bat. The dot is trying to get printed, but it won't be printed until the end of the week. We'll revisit that. It would have to be bearish. I don't know why that's even coming up, but I'll watch that. Oh, yeah. Also, we're overbought in coin, but it's still expanding. I think 416 is a likely objective. But there's a lot of these that have done crazy moves. Let me show you one other one that I think this is also about market capitalization is Palantir. Palantir 149. We have the shark at 141. I just think it's going to bypass. And so I'm watching Palantir not only for itself, but for the whole market. Like if NVIDIA is going to go, which it's going, Palantir and some of these others, MicroStrategy, these all should start to really go and run to all-time new highs now. One or two more. HUT. Yeah, these might work now because of where Bitcoin's at. So maybe not that, or somebody wanted BTBT, which, yeah, could get a crazy bid because the narrative changed, but it's still a type 1. Look at the type 1 here. The bat took you from, got overspilled, went to target 1, now rejecting, come back to 233, guys, and then it would be a type 2 like that. Don't jump these. Let it do the 2 and then expect it to go. Possibly. But they're there. I mean, look, you're out of the, you're kind of out of the fire here with waiting and waiting. Archer Aviation, another spec play. This goes higher. This does go higher because of this. Daily HSI. Send it. And that's like the other one. This Joby just continues to climb. Look at that. I mean, it's amazing. There's been a few of these that have worked. The other one, look, this QuantumScape. You know, they hit 11, guys. I don't know. Again, I think I got a little lucky on that one. Got to watch this 11 mark for QuantumScape. Larger takeaway, these type of stocks are moving. And you see what's going on when you got NVIDIA up 7 at a 4 trillion market cap. Let's go. It's sweet. It's really sweet because all the hard work, especially what we endured in March, really playing out. Here's the other one, SoundHound, guys. This little AI play, this is building. I've been on this since 9 to 10. It hit 14, now 11, but that one's moving, and BBAI, so we're getting that narrative to come back again, which is great. Let's let these fly. Nice. Congrats, Mr. Khan. Yeah, take the profits. Mr. Khan saying that he took 400% profits out of Coinbase. Yeah, because we were talking about Coinbase at 160. And it went to 400. Same with Connell. But we're in that environment, guys, and that's not going away. Embrace it. Love it. You earned it. We're here. One or two more. Rigetti. That was the other one from 11 right here. This has got to bust the bat pattern. So watch it. If we can get that above 14 again, that should get going. Yeah, that's probably good. That is good. That's enough for today, guys. Yeah, come on. Get over to harmonictrader.com. Especially new people, do not get out of here before sending your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. On Thursday, I'll give away 2 packages and I'll do something special. So come on back for that. If you have any questions, get over on the Discord. We got people there. Lots of people there. Answer questions, all of that. Mr. Khan, I'll do LAC on Thursday. You bring it back, okay? It's just give it time. LAC is a recovery play, but we'll get into more of these at that time. Everyone else, get over to Harmonic Trader. Get with the software. You have any questions? Get to me on Discord. And dig in, kids. I'm really encouraged to see Bitcoin at 120 or 115. Now let's start focusing on Bitcoin 160. And the rest, just keep it going. All right, that's it for today. Thanks, guys. As always, been fun. And don't forget,